Old school talk, R&B, and hip hop. WPMM online radio.
The Truth with G.
Yeah, you are now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you. Today is Monday. It is Monday, the 10th of October. 10th of October. Hope everybody's doing fine. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Quiet weekend that I had. So nothing real eventful took place, thank God, after the few weekends that we have had here in Pensacola. So thank God for that. Somewhat quiet. So, but we're back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Again, it's Monday the 10th. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We are on WPMM Internet Radio. We are also, you can go to the website and listen to the show. You can actually go to the website and download the app. We have a free app that you can download and listen to the show as well. We are on our YouTube channel, WPMM YouTube channel as well. We're on Facebook Live. We're on my Facebook page. You're at Gerald Graham, also WPMM Facebook page. So there's several different ways you can listen to the show. So if you're on Facebook, let's go ahead and share. Looks like we do have a couple people already on Facebook. Looks like Miss Dorothy Saver is on. How you doing, Miss Saver? Mr. Walter Davis, what's going on, my brother? If you're on the Facebook page, just go ahead and share, whether it's the WPMM page or my page at Gerald Graham. But Monday, Monday Madness today. Monday Madness. We're going to be tackling a few topics here today. Some of the major topics of the last few days, if you will. So, also return of the Dear White People segment tonight. Bringing back Dear White People segment that we're going to talk about what I call a letter to white people. And I know some people say, why you got to target white people? Because white people has to be educated. They have to be informed. So we're bringing back our Dear White People segment tonight. So again, go ahead and share. It is October. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And you all should know about October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And every month, if you will, there's something highlighted, and it's to bring awareness to that dreadful disease of breast cancer, and to highlight our soldiers, our survivors, and also our warriors who have fallen to or succumb to the battle of fighting breast cancer. There's activities going on pretty much all month in regards to breast cancer. I know the Pensacola area, they do several events, and then it kind of culminates at the end of the month with the Breast Cancer Walk. It's the last weekend of the month, I believe it is. I get more information on that and pass it along to you in the next few days here. But usually if they haven't changed it, it's usually like a 3-mile walk that they do. And you sign up with teams and you register here and there, and you walk for the cause, and it's in efforts to raise money for research dealing with breast cancer. So and that money goes to fund that research, and without the funding, we can't do anything. So make sure that we are supporting the efforts to find a cure for breast cancer. Also, for the people that are out there who are survivors and whatnot, shouts out to you guys, because you guys are the brave soldiers and warriors that have to deal with this situation. Men as well can get breast cancer, so don't think it's just women. It's not common in men, but men can get breast cancer. So I tend to check myself on a regular. If you want to say I'm feeling on myself, then I'm feeling on myself. But I want to make sure that I am not feeling any lumps or anything to where I need to be concerned about it. And if I do check myself and I feel something, I'm definitely going to get it checked out, because again, it's not common, but men as well get breast cancer. So, and for women, make sure that you're scheduling your breast exams. Do not wait until you are 50 years old to schedule your breast exam, because that could be a death sentence, if you will. I hate to put it that way, but that could be a death sentence. And we want to catch it as early as possible. Early detection is the key. So we don't want to wait. We definitely don't want to wait. I'm personally involved with the breast cancer fight, if you will. I've said it many a times. My wife, she is a breast cancer survivor over 12 years now, a survivor, and hers was caught. She was stage 3 when they caught it, but at least it was caught. But she was only 38 years old when this occurred. 38, 39 years old. So don't wait until you're 50 years old to do your breast exam. So, but once again, if you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and share. We are on WPMM Internet Radio, WPMMradio.com. It's the website, and we may have a couple of issues on the web on the app, if you will. If you try to get on the app and you can't, I apologize. I think we're having some issues with the system itself, not anything to do with you, but the system may not be acting accordingly right now. So, but if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share. We are going to take phone calls tonight as well. And 850-221-0396 is the number to call. We will be taking calls tonight on this any subject that I'm talking about, and or any subject that you feel to be worthy of conversation. If you do call in, and I feel that you're we deal with the truth here. We deal with the truth. So I just ask, if anyone calls into the show, I don't deal in gossip. I don't deal with he say, she say, whatever case may be. I deal in facts. So if you want to engage in hypotheticals, whatever case may be, just depending on the context and the subject, if you will, we may can do that. But I want to, if you call about something specific, let's talk about the facts, because I do not like giving misinformation to my listeners, and I do not allow other people to give misinformation to my listeners, i.e. some other these media outlets that allow people to come on and just say anything off the top of their head. So, but anyway, the views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts are their own and not of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to malign itself with any religion, ethnic group, club, country, company, organization, or anyone or anything. That's the disclaimer in case you want to sue myself or anybody here at WPMM. Again, these are my words. So if you try to sue anyone, please come after me and not bother anybody else. 17 cents, people. 17 cents in the jelly jar. That's all I have sitting next to my bed. So if you sue me, that's all you're going to get if you win. But it's hard to win when I'm telling the truth about the situation. You can't be accused of slander if you're telling the truth about it. So Monday Madness, we're talking different topics tonight. We're going to start out October 10th. Today is October 10th. I have to start out by talking about the voter registration. Very, very important. October the 11th, which is tomorrow's date. October 11th, which is tomorrow, is the last day. Sorry. It's the last day to register to vote for the upcoming midterm election. Tomorrow is the last day. I apologize, you guys. I'm trying to get situated here. So October 11th is the last day that you can register to vote in the midterms, which is November 8th. So if you have not registered, make sure that you get down to the supervisor of elections office tomorrow and register. Don't put anything in the mail. It's too late to mail anything. Make your way down to the supervisor election office tomorrow. I think there's an online, check online first, because you may be able to do it online and get your information in on time. But I think you need a signature. So make your way down to this supervisor election office, wherever you are, and make sure that you are get registered. Again, this is for the midterms in November. After tomorrow, you can still register, but you will not be able to vote in the midterms if you're not already registered to vote. And the vote is so important, people. It is so very important that you guys are getting registered and also showing up at the polls to vote. Because having a registration and you're not showing up at the polls to vote is a moot point. That makes no sense whatsoever. Early voting starts about a week and a half, 2 weeks prior to November 8th. The early voting usually stops on the Sunday prior to the election day, which is on a Tuesday. So early voting normally goes up to either that Saturday or that Sunday prior to election day. So for people who, especially people who have issues on their job, or where they claim, well, I can't get off to go and vote on election day and this, that, and another. Early voting starts, and you have 2 weekends. It's usually 2 weekends where you can go on the weekend. They will, you have to Google in your area where the precincts are that you can go to early vote. In early voting, you do not have to go to a precinct in your area. You do not. You can go anywhere that is set up for early voting to early vote. However, on election day, you cannot just go anywhere to vote on election day. You have to go to your assigned precinct to vote on election day. Say that again. Early voting, you can go to any precinct, anywhere where there's early voting taking place. You can go there to early vote, regardless of where you live in the city, in the county. You can go and early vote wherever you choose to. On election day, you have to go to the precinct that you are assigned to. Let's see. Mr. Charles Brown, he's on. He says, let's vote with exclamation point. Mr. Davis said, no excuses. Always the easy time to vote. Early voting. You're exactly right. Early voting, especially people that claim they can't get off work on election day, Tuesday, and I need to check the times on early voting. Once I get all the information on the early voting, I'll be putting it out there to you, because here's the situation with early voting. We've had so many voter suppression laws that pass across the nation, to where it's not like it was in the past. Usually in early voting, you could go up until like 7 o'clock at night to vote. Early voting, with all these voting suppression laws, they've cut down the times, they've cut down the days and the number of days that you have. They've done everything to suppress the vote, particularly of Black and brown people, to make it more inconvenient for Black and brown people to vote. So, early voting is the best way to do it. I actually, this past primary election, I actually did not, you know, I was literally preoccupied to where I wasn't able to early vote. However, on election day, I made sure that I got down to the polls, to my precinct and vote. Also, on your precinct, you should be receiving, if you're registered, you're going to receive in the mail information in regards to a sample ballot. You will also, in that information, you will receive the address, the site of your precinct. So before you go anywhere to vote, again, don't wait until Tuesday. Don't wait until election day. But if you wait until election day, make sure that as soon as you receive that letter from the supervisor elections office, open that letter, view it, read your sample ballot, look and see exactly where your precinct is. Precincts have changed. If you've been voting at a school, at a public school, no, you can no longer vote at public schools. They're not open for, you know, if my understanding is correct, they are not having any precincts located at schools, so you cannot go to schools. So just make sure you check your information before election day. But early voting is the key. You can go anywhere in the city, anywhere in the county to early vote. Mr. John Adams has joined us as well. How you doing that night, Mr. John? John says, good evening. He said, just remember, if you don't vote, don't complain. Also, if you don't do politics, politics will do you. Yes, sir. And you never want to get screwed by politics, because it's you know, one of those no Vaseline type situations, if you will. So you really need to be abreast of what's going on in the political arena. You know, try to make an effort to learn a little bit about what's going on in politics, because that's what governs everything that you do in life. You know, your daily life is governed by politics. So just, I'm not saying become an expert, but at least educate yourself to, you know, to the point to where you know what is going on around you. Ms. Dorothy Savory said that downtown closes at 6, all the other places at 7. And I'm assuming that's for early voting, Ms. Savory. I'm assuming that's for early voting. So make sure you get down there and do your due diligence. And, you know, a lot of people fought, bled, and died for your rights. And I'm talking particularly to my Black people at this point. Too many people fought, bled, and died for you to be able to go and vote. And the least that you can do for those people who sacrifice everything for you, the least that you can do is to go and vote. That's just the least that you can do. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but definitely don't vote for Republicans. I know that sounds kind of an oxymoron there, but no, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but don't vote Republican. Voting Republican is idiotic and is, at this point in time, it is a stupid choice. But I can't tell you who to vote for, but don't vote Republican. And Mr. Dorothy said that's 6 o'clock downtown at the supervisor elections office, 7 o'clock at other precincts as far as early voting on the days. And I have the exact days of early voting probably on the next show when it will actually open up for early voting. So go early. Usually at early voting, you don't have to wait in no lines. You know, there's not a bunch of people. You're in and out. The whole process from the time you pull up in the parking lot and walk in the building, vote, walk out, you probably spent a whole 5 minutes. And if you don't have 5 minutes of your day, of a day within a 2-week period to go and exercise your right to vote, then something is seriously, seriously wrong. So get out and vote. Let's see. But this election is crucial, people. This election is so very important, because the Congress is up for grabs at this point. It is predicted that the Democrats will lose several House seats. How that is, I don't know, because stupidity is rampant, in the Republican Party. Thank you, Miss Avery. October 24th through November 5th is early voting. October 24th to November 25th. October 24th is a Saturday. No, it's not. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. So it's run from the 24th through the 5th. And I think in that process, you have at least 2 Saturdays in there, 2 Saturdays and 1 Sunday in there that you can go early vote as far as on the weekends, and then all the days in between. But this vote, this midterm vote is so very, very important, and I really want you guys to understand the severity of this vote. And I'm talking about, I'm talking specifically right now to Black people. Unless you've been under a rock somewhere, you are aware of how particularly the Republican Party they are making laws, and they're making all kind of adjustments to oppress Black people. They are making all kind of laws. They overturned Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court was stacked because we did not show up in 2016 and vote like for that particular 2016 election to keep the orange idiot out of office. His whole purpose and they set him up to take office just for the purpose of stacking the Supreme Court to where they will overturn Roe v. Wade. If you don't know what Roe v. Wade is, it is the law that was put in place that protected abortion rights for women. As it stands right now, that law has been overturned. The abortion laws has been turned over to the states. There's 26 states right now that you cannot get an abortion in. Most of those states there's not even exception. There's not even an exception for rape, incest. So the government has control of your uterus for you ladies. And when I say the government, the Republican Party took over your uterus. You do not own your uterus at this point in time. So if the Republicans win the Senate, and if they take over the Senate, which it's a 50-50 split in the Senate right now. We cannot afford to lose any seats. We need to try to gain seats. One of the states that we can gain, well, let me backtrack. If we lose a Senate seat, the Republicans take over the Senate. If the Republicans take over the Senate, regardless if we hold on to the House or not, we will not be able to get anything done that is beneficial to the people. Because anything that, with the way the politics work and the way government works, it goes through the House, then it goes to the Senate, and then it goes back to the House, and it goes back to the Senate, then it goes to if it passes, it goes to the president's desk. We've seen when Obama was in office that the Republicans, they had control of the Senate at that point. They shot down every bill that benefited everyday working people. Shot down every bill. Obama had to do a lot of things under executive orders because Mitch McConnell, which is the Senate Majority Leader, he said that in the beginning of Obama's first term, that his goal was to make Obama a one-term president. He failed at that. However, he succeeded at shutting down any bills that were proposed by Republicans and that were proposed by Democrats. He shut it down. Nothing went through. So a lot of executive orders had to take place in order for President Obama to get things done, if you will. So, but if we lose the House or the Senate, Republicans take control. They already took control over women's bodies. They will take control over further control over women's bodies, with a federal abortion ban. And I'm not sitting here saying that I am for or against abortions. What I am saying is that I believe that women should have the right to determine what they do with their own bodies. There's not a piece of legislation out there anywhere, or federal level, state level, local level. There's not a piece of legislation out there anywhere that deals with the male anatomy. There's nothing out there that controls the male anatomy, but they have taken control over the women's uterus. So for that alone, if you're a woman, if you're listening to this show and you're a woman, for that alone, you would be, I want to use a word, but I'm trying to be polite here. You would be misled if you vote for a Republican leader at this point, because that Republican leader that you're voting for do not want you to have ownership of your own body. That enough should be enough for you to, even if you don't agree with politics or the platform of the Democratic side of things, even if you don't agree, that should be enough to where you can say, I can drop party affiliation for this election, just so we can put people in Congress that's going to let my body be my body, if you will. So it's very important. We cannot lose the Senate. We cannot lose the Senate seat. And we cannot lose any more seats in the House, because we cannot allow them to take over. The race in Florida and the race in Georgia are two races that are crucial. They're very crucial in regards to the makeup of the Senate. And in Florida, we have Marco Rubio on the Republican side. We have Val Demings on the Democratic side. Val Demings is running for Marco Rubio's seat. If you are a woman, if you're a Democrat, get up and go vote. Get up and go vote. Because if we can pick up a seat in Florida, we more than likely will gain or remain in control. People in Georgia there's a lot of stupid people in Georgia, let's put it that way, because they done voted for people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they are putting that dumbass Herschel Walker. He's like neck and neck in the polls with Reverend Warnock, who is the current senator there in that particular district there in Georgia. But if we have a bunch of dumbasses in Georgia who are willing to vote for someone like Herschel Walker, and promise you, I hate to say anything bad about my black brothers and sisters, but Herschel Walker is one of the dumbest people and one of the most naive people and one of the most easily manipulated people on this planet. He's not very bright to begin with, but he has allowed the Republican Party to boost in his head just because of his fame in Georgia, but from playing, at the University of Georgia when he was in college or whatever case may be. He has let these people convince him that he has the intelligence to be a state senator, and they're using him as a token. All they're doing is positioning him to be a puppet in the U.S. Senate. They will tell him what to do and what not to do, and he's going to do anything that they tell him to do. So we'll talk about him a little bit later, but that's an idiot. If you vote for that idiot, then there's something wrong with you. Something is seriously wrong with you. So people of Georgia, stand up. Mr. Doug White, he's on. I appreciate you jumping on. Mr. Charles Brown is on. He said, loss of respect for Herschel Walker complete jackass. You're exactly right. And again, I hate saying anything negative about my black brothers and sisters. I'm not anti-white, but I'm pro-black. And Herschel Walker is an embarrassment to anybody, black or brown. And I'm gonna include our brown brothers in this as well. But anybody, black or brown, Herschel Walker is an embarrassment to them. And if you dumb enough to go out there and vote for that idiot, then you're an embarrassment as well. I just hate to say it, but I got to say it. But anyway, the election is so very, very important. So very important. And I was going to go to the segment here on Coach Prime. If you just joined him, it is Miss Saber said his son disowned him. Yeah, his son is kind of confused as well, because his son was making a lot of noise for the conservatives, if you will, for the far right, prior to I guess he got tired of Herschel lying about whatever, and then he finally changed his tune. But that young man needs he has some issues as well. And I guess if Herschel Walker is your father, you know, you're destined to have some issues. So yeah. But if you want to, it seems like Herschel got all the right attributes to run as a Republican, because you have to be covered in controversy and scandal. You have to be abusive. You have to be crazy to try to commit suicide 2 or 3 times. It seems like the prerequisites to being a Republican is to be, a little retarded, and no disrespect to retarded people, but that's the way it seems. If you are immoral, and if you are a bad character, or if you have a spotty past, or if you have a criminal past, you are a great candidate for the Republican Party. And that seems to be the way things are going on that side of the aisle. And that's so sad. And we have too many people buying into it. But once again, if you're just joining us, Monday Madness, talking different topics here. We're going to move on. Been talking about the vote. I wanted to tackle Coach Prime and the Coach Robinson situation since that's been brewing for the last couple of days, ever since the game. But I want to, before I get there, I need to move on. Let's see. I want to go to, let's talk. I said I was going to bring back my Dear White People segment. Yeah, I said I was going to bring that back. And if you're not familiar with my Dear White People segment, I'm going to tell you about it. So, Dear White People, this segment is to educate, if you will. Is a segment created to educate our white counterparts, if you will, on just basic knowledge in regards to when it comes to dealing with Black people. And I feel it's necessary because white people are ignorant in a lot of senses of life, in a lot of areas of life. The ignorance is prevalent. The ignorance is I don't know if it can be cured in a lot of cases, and that's a sad thing. But Dear White People segment is for the purpose of just educating, pointing out different situations, and educating white people on the plight of Black people, and also on their white privilege, because they seem not to know that they are beneficiaries of white privilege, and they think that they can debate with black people over what racism is. So that's what the Dear White People segment is all about, and that's how it derived and came about. So we're going to tackle that subject. I am taking your phone calls tonight as well. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. 850-221-0396 is the number to call. And dear white people, I've said this many times, and I say it again. White people do not have the credentials to define racism. I've said it many times. That is my quote. If you hear it anywhere else, they heard it from me first. I don't have any copyrights on it, but I guarantee you, I said it first, and I've been saying it for the last 2 to 3 years. White people do not have the credentials to define racism. And as I took a call on the last Thursday's show. I took a call from a young lady who was a Caucasian young lady who I had to educate her. Had to educate her on just the simple things about why black people feel the way they feel, about why black people feel that they continue to be oppressed, why systemic racism is still prevalent, examples of systemic racism as it pertains to everyday life. I had to break it down to her and let her know that the world that you live in is not reality. You're living in a fantasy world, if you will, and you're not allowing yourself an opportunity to grow, if you will, because you're stuck in the white woman's mentality, and you refuse to allow the black point of view to make a difference in your mindset. Mr. Charles Brown said, "Character doesn't matter anymore until we vote. Make it make it matter." You're exactly right. We was talking about the vote. Mr. Adams said, "Did you hear what Tommy Tuberville said over the weekend?" Yes, dear white people. Tommy Tuberville, yeah. And that's I was going to touch on that as well in my dear white people segment. So, but since it's been brought up, I'll go ahead and talk about that. Here's what is troublesome in regards to Tommy Tuberville. Just a little background on who Tommy Tuberville is. Tommy Tuberville is the current United States senator, a United States senator out of the state of Alabama. I think he won the seat from Greg Jones, if I remember correctly. Tommy Tuberville is for you sports fans, he is the ex-coach of the Auburn Tigers. He coached Auburn for 10 years, to my understanding. Tommy Tuberville. This is the same man who, when he ran for Senate, he was endorsed by the Orange Idiot. He was supported by the Orange Idiot, and all of the Orange Idiot's followers voted for Tuberville. He ran on a racist platform. And the sad part about that is this man coached young black men, not just the 10 years that he was at Auburn, but throughout the time that he had been coaching, whether it's college or any other level. He had been coaching young black men. And he was coaching, as particularly at Auburn, during a time where, and I want to say it was the 90s, I think, that when Tuberville was coaching. So it was coming through a time to where we were just trying to gain our rights as black people. So I can almost imagine what those players went through under his tutelage, if you will. Um, I can imagine the racial disparities that they had to undergo under his tutelage. Fast forward to today, he is a sitting U.S. senator, uh, and he's still kissing Trump's ass. He showed up. He was at a MAGA rally for Trump over the weekend. And if you're associated with MAGA anything, then you're a racist. But Mr. Tuberville did not even try to hide his racism. And matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, and dear white people, listen to me. And then y'all wonder why we pissed off at y'all. And I'm not talking to the good white people. I'm talking to you assholes. I'm talking to the racist assholes are the ones I'm talking to. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this pulled up, Mr. Tuberville. But he made some comments during this MAGA rally. First of all, you're at the MAGA rally, so we know you're racist. And then you're not trying to hide the fact that you're racist. I'm gonna read some of the articles to you real quick so you can understand where I'm coming from. And white people, I'm talking to white people right now. This is what pisses us off. This is why we look at you side eye, because you support people like Tommy Tuberville, and you do it with pride, and you support racists. So if you support a racist or a racist agenda, you are also a racist. And I'm one of those people. If you're a racist, don't come smile in my face. Don't come smile in my face. And then behind closed doors, you calling me a nigga. I don't respect that. I respect you more if you just came to me and said, well, gee, I'm a racist. I was born a racist. I've been raised a racist, and I'm still a racist, and I'm going to continue to be a racist. I will respect you more than for you to smile in my face and act like you like me and then get behind closed doors and call me a nigga. But anyway, let's read a little bit of this article so you kind of understand where I'm going with Tommy Tuberville. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville pushed a racist narrative about black people in crime at a campaign rally hosted by the Orange Idiot on Saturday. This was this Saturday night. This wasn't 20 years ago, 30 years ago. This is this weekend. As a Republicans press crime as an election issue, Tuberville contended Democrat-backed reparations for descendants of slavery because they think the people who do crime are owed that. In other words, he called every black person a criminal. And he used the word they. He used the word they a lot. And I'm paraphrasing as I read this, but he used the word they. Anytime he said the word they, he was referring to black people. They think people who do crime are owed that. Well, he was talking about reparations. They are soft on crime, Tuberville said. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. You meaning white people. They want to control what you have. In other words, black people going to criminalize everything. They're going to go in your house and steal everything you got. They want reparations because they think people who do the crime are owed that. So in other words, he called every black person a criminal. Trump was in the Nevada campaigning for U.S. Senate candidate Adam Laxalt and gubernatorial candidate Joe Lombardo ahead of November 8 midterms. They call for reparations for descendants of African slaves have been around for decades and has grown in recent years. Reparation could involve an apology for slavery, payments, land grants, and more. Before he was elected to Congress in 2020, Tuberville coached football for over a decade at Auburn University and amongst other universities. In a statement Monday, the NAACP, Derek Johnson called out Tuberville remarks as flat out racist. He said his words promote century-old lies about Black people that throughout history we have resulted in most dangerous policies and violent attacks on our community. Johnson said, we've seen this before in far right, and we're seeing that when it takes power. That's the gist of it. Tommy Tuberville, U.S. Senator, is not trying to hide his racism. He is out there just in broad view. There's no dog whistles, if you will. He's telling you he's a racist. They want control over what you have, is a quote from him. Black people want control of what white people have. But we had people of Alabama vote this idiot in office. And, we're in the year 2022. We're about to close out the year 2022, heading into 2023, and we're still dealing with 1950, 1960 issues, Jim Crow type issues and mentalities. And that's a shame, white people. That's definitely a shame. And if you are one of these white people who are not speaking out against your white counterparts being racist, then you are culpable in the sustainability of racism, of systemic racism. You are helping to sustain racism as we know it. If you are not calling out your counterparts, if you are sitting and listening to your friends make nigger jokes and defame Black people and Black women or whatever, and you sitting and laughing and entertaining those people and inviting them to dinner and bringing them to your house and things, that you are culpable in sustaining systemic racism. So, and I was talking about this young lady that called into the show, and I had to educate her on the plight of Black people. And I hope that I made a difference in her mentality, because I put it on a pretty thick. I put it on a pretty thick, but I only gave her a little bit of the reality. I didn't give her everything. I only gave her a little bit. And hopefully she listened and she learned a little bit. I wasn't trying to just dog her out. I was just trying to educate her. We have a call on the line. Who would I have on the line with me tonight? Hello, caller. Who do I have on the line tonight? Caller, you with me? Okay, I have a caller. I don't know if they can hear me or not. Caller, are you with me? Caller, if you're still there, I need you to hang up and call back. I'm not sure what's going on, but hang up and try to call back. Okay. Yeah, call if you would. Call me back. Call me back. Let me just. Yes, caller if you would. Call me back. Let's see what's happening here. Caller, are you with me?
Gee, can you hear me okay?
Okay, I can hear you now. Sound like Mr. John.
Hey.
I need you to get rid of that Nextel phone with that
No, this ain't on Nextel phone, brother. It's T-Slobel.
What's going on with you tonight, Mr. John?
Hey man, just out here trying to make a little money, that's all. Just trying to make a little money,
I feel you.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say something about voting, man. Um, see, what people don't understand about the whole abortion issue is if we can get control of if we can maintain the House and get the majority in the Senate, I'm talking if we can get a couple more votes in the Senate, then they can take the abortion issue and federalize it and make it legal all over the country.
Right.
So now, if they get the Senate and the House, Joe Biden will become a lame duck president. Then in 2 years, God forbid, if Joe Biden is voted out of office and we get, some idiot in there on the Republican side, they'll do the exact opposite. And abortion will be totally gone. And also they can start putting other things to states' rights, like marriage equality, meaning, gay marriage or whatever. And also, Clarence Thomas didn't say anything about it, but they could have Virginia versus Loving overturned. Turn that back over to the state.
Yeah.
A whole lot of damage, bro.
Yeah, it's crucial. That's why I was talking about earlier with the 2016 election, to where that's really where we lost control of things because we did not show up to vote like we supposed to.
Right.
And that
people didn't like Hillary because she didn't wear the right color pantsuit, or they thought she was too bossy. But Hillary made a lot of mistakes too. Instead of, like in Pennsylvania, instead of going out in the middle of Pennsylvania campaigning, she thought she had on a rap. She hanging out in Philadelphia with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and not doing the right thing. She did a lot of bad stuff too.
Well,
Canada.
Yeah, and even with that, the way I saw it, and obviously other people didn't see it the same way I did. I would have voted for Hillary. I would have voted for the daughter. I'd have voted for the dog before I voted for Donald Trump.
That's true.
But people found idiotic reasons. I don't have to like Hillary Clinton, but I can understand that her policies are centered around human beings, if you will. Her policies, and when I seen her, if she had been president, I seen her tenure as a president to be somewhat equivalent to what Bill's years were when he was president. And under Bill Clinton, I mean, we didn't have a whole lot to complain about.
That's true, we did.
So I can see Bill telling Hillary, this, that, and the other will work. This, that, yeah. And so I just didn't understand that whole thing. People, they let the Republicans push Benghazi to the point of and it's unfortunate that people, there's few people lost their life in Benghazi. It's unfortunate, but people didn't understand that.
They want power, man. It's all about power.
Right.
See, in politics, there's no permanent friends, just permanent interests, and they want to control that power, man. That's what it's all about.
Right. And people didn't really understand that even they put the blame on Hillary Clinton in the Benghazi incident, but prior to the incident there at Benghazi, Hillary had asked for additional security there for 3 or 4 times.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
But they allowed, especially people in the Democratic Party either chose not to vote for her or to vote independent because they believed in the narrative that the Republicans were pushing, that she was responsible for Benghazi when she was trying to do everything to prevent something like that from happening. And the Republicans were the ones denying her requests.
That's true.
So and then
But they didn't see that. But they didn't see it like that. You know, you don't see it like that.
right. That's why we have to
You know?
educate ourselves. We have to be
Yeah.
like I say, nobody I don't know everything, and we'll never claim to know everything, but I know a little bit about most things.
Mhm.
You know,
And it's like now, you know, with everything going on with this war, and with the Ukraine situation, and people don't understand, man. This whole Ukraine stuff is dangerous because Biden told everybody that in that fundraiser over the weekend said, you know, if he say he's gonna use nuclear weapons, he can use them, and he will use them.
yeah.
And I don't care what you say. I don't care how much food you put away. I don't care how much money you put under your mattress. If they start blowing stuff up with nuclear weapons, you don't want to be here.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a pretty thing, man. You don't want to be here.
And that's the biggest threat right now because we know Putin just claimed a nuclear power plant there in Ukraine that he say, oh nope, we own this. How you just show up somewhere and say, oh, I own this.
But I think the CIA got something for them. Only way this is going to stop, you got to take Putin out. Man. They got to take him out.
Yeah, I don't know why that hadn't taken place yet, but
I bet the wheels are turning. I bet the wheels are motion for that, man. Because you got to take him out. He doesn't have a second in command, so you got to take him out.
Yeah,
I mean, we done that. We done that to Osama. We did that to Noriega. We did it to what's my man over there? Over in Egypt, whatever it was, where they took him out, beat him up in the middle of the road.
That was killed in the bombing on the convoy.
Yeah, took him out. Yeah, who else? Saddam Hussein. And they got ways of doing stuff, man.
Well, and here's the promising thing that I seen.
Gaddafi.
Yeah. Here's the promising thing that I seen coming out of Russia, that they are protesting in Russia now.
Yeah.
You have never heard of anybody protesting in Russia because usually if you protested in Russia, you go into jail, you go get a death sentence, and that's it. But now they're protesting in Russia. You got people fleeing Russia because they're not trying to be forced to fight in a war that they don't agree with. So you get you got some pushback in Russia now against Putin's regime. So that's promising. But the more pushback he get, the less people that's trying to flee the country, the less the people who are being forced into the military, if they start dropping off, it's just going to put Putin in a situation where he may feel that his only alternative are these nuclear weapons. So, we have to use diplomacy as much as we can, but at some point, somebody got to make a move.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you go, man. But everybody get out and vote, and I'm gonna tell people to vote for. I'm gonna tell you, go vote for Val Demings, and unfortunately, go vote for Charlie Crist. That's the only way we're gonna get, dumb DeSantis Satan out of there.
Right.
So, I ain't happy about Charlie Crist one bit, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, it's another case of, I can't say I'm a fan of Charlie Crist either, but you have to vote for the lesser of the two evils.
Yep. And there's a black woman running for the Secretary of Agriculture and the Secretary of State.
Yeah, and the Attorney General.
Attorney General, Attorney General.
Yeah.
Yep.
So people get out and vote.
But the problem is, the Democratic Party has not put any money in our area of Florida because they feel it's too red. We talked about that before. Right. But to me, that's like giving up on the game before you go out there and play it.
Well, I'm gonna have a show. I'm gonna dedicate at least half of my show one day to this fundraising when it comes to politics, And I just don't agree with the money being the issue as far as, because everybody claim that whoever raised the most money is the one that's gonna win. It's not about money. It's about human beings.
Well, I know. I got a text today from the Democratic committee lady, and she told me I asked about some Valdemar yard signs, and they have them in over the headquarters on 8th Street. But the thing is, what tripped me out was they had to go down to Tallahassee to get them. They wouldn't even mail them to her.
Mm. Well,
I'm like, that's just too cheap. That's just way too cheap.
I know,
They
but
don't put any money in this. I mean, look around. Have you seen any billboards with any candidate? I'm talking Republicans too.
Well, here.
I'm talking about nothing for DeSantis, nothing for Chris, nobody.
Well, the situation with Val Demings is that Val
It's a
Demings.
shame. You still there? I think I lost you.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I lost you, man.
I can still hear you. I don't know. I can still hear you. But what I was saying, Val Demings, she's struggling to raise money. She is not. It hadn't been easy for her in regards to fundraising. She's not bringing in the big dollars like the Marco Rubio and DeSantis and this, that, and other because of who she's targeting. She's not bringing in the big dollars. She's not targeting the millionaires and things of that nature. So, her funds are limited. I get information from her campaign almost daily. Not almost daily. I get information in regards to her campaign as far as her fundraising, and she's not she's not meeting the goals that she would like to meet. So that may be the reason why she's not putting a whole lot of money into campaigning as far as signs and this, that, and other, because she don't have it to give. So, but just make sure tomorrow's the last day to register to vote. Tomorrow's the last day, the 11th of October. Go down to the supervisor's election office to get registered so that you can partake in the midterm elections. Early voting starts on the 24th of October, runs through the 5th of November. The election day is November 8th. November 8th, that Tuesday. So make sure that you get out, register, and get out to vote. So, and I have ran over my time, people. I ran over my time. I was going to talk about the situation with ASU and Jackson State. I'll say that to Thursday. We'll talk about that on Thursday night because that's been the talk of the town here lately, and we'll discuss that as well. But I need them two brothers to get on the same page because we do not need another feud amongst our black brothers and sisters. So, but it is time for me to get out of here. I will see you guys on Thursday night, 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on WPMM Internet Radio and on Facebook Live. So until then, you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.
Old school talk, R&B, and hip hop. WPMM online radio.